Hey, what is that secret ingredient? That skill that people are missing, that want to be in sales, that want to be influential. A lot of people think they have it, but this is a very rare find, and this will excel your ability to persuade and influence. It's active, empathetic listening. When you do this, they'll tell you everything you need to know to persuade and to influence or to sell them by truly listening. They'll tell you everything you need to know. That's why introverts outpersuade extroverts. That's a new trend. They someone to listen to them, truly listen. And not only is it a powerful skill of influence for your toolbox, it's a great people skill. When you listen, people like you. I fly a lot. I remember being on a flight from JFK, New York to LAX, and I've got a sign on my head that says, "Hi, tell me your life story," and they do. And I remember this one flight that I just listened. Didn't say much. This guy's, when we landed, he's like, "You're one of the most interesting people I've ever met." I'm like, "You don't even know me." It's the best conversation I've had in years. So not only did I make a friend, I have a future client now that is a client that you could do by truly listening, understanding how this works. So hey, my name's Kurt Mortensen. Welcome to Maximize Your Influence. Just finished another podcast. Go to MaximizeYourInfluence.com. Take your free Persuasion IQ assessment. Get the free book, Maximum Influence. That's a new edition. Just pick up a little shipping and handling as we go through this. So why are we so bad at this? Well, never been trained. In fact, I cringe when corporations call me for influence training that's focusing on listening. That's important. That's why we're talking about it. But it's a hostile audience. Where you want to train employees on how to become better listeners, what would happen if your spouse or your boss sends you to listening trainings? You're like, wait a minute, they should be here. And sometimes you get a little tension there. We have to call it empowerment. It's important. We need it. We all think we're doing good. We can hear. But are you truly listening with your ears, your eyes, and your heart? The other reason we stink at listening is our brain. Yes, our brain. What does our brain do? You're talking, they're talking, and then you're listening, you're trying to listen, and your brain just has this great thought. You want to interject, you want to tell them how to benefit, you want to tell them fill in the blank, and you got to tell them before you forget. That's what your brain's telling you to do, and you interrupt. Come across as arrogant, you're not listening, you don't care, you're condescending. We call it anti-suasion here. And that's what happens. And so I'm going to give you some tools to be able to handle this and work through becoming a better empathetic listener, that active listener. First of all, of course, empathy. I mean, that's truly caring. And a lot of people think, and this is a big complaint with coworkers with their managers and people trying to sell, is that they just didn't care. They didn't like me. They didn't listen. There's no empathy there. You truly listen with your ears, your eyes, your heart. You do it the right way. There's an empathy there. There's a connection. There's a boost to the esteem. Look up law of esteem and maximum influence. That's critical. That's bigger than you ever realized, because when you bruise someone's self-esteem, it shuts the doors to influence. But when you boost it, it opens the door, and the best way to boost it is through listening. So one of the first things to take a look at is your nonverbals, especially when you're face-to-face or through the internet if you're doing a conference call. Now, obviously over the phone, this is not as important, but it is. Let me tell you why in a second. So the first one is just the nod. Really? Okay, tell me more. Your shoulders square up, good eye contact. Around 70% is the average around the world. That's important. The challenge is phubbing. You're like, phubbing, what's that? Look at the word there, phubbing. It's a new word. Look it up. What that means is when your cell phone buzzes, you look at it. You've broken that eye contact. I don't care about you. My phone just buzzed. I've got a text. Or your email dings. You're like, I got an email. And you look. You might not even answer it because you know that's wrong. But you looked. So turn off the computer, hide your cell phone, do whatever you need to do. You can be active, engaged. They're the most important person on the earth. You got to be focused on them. It's so critical. Again, great people skill, great boost to the esteem. It shows empathy, which is part of charisma. That's a whole nother lesson, but nonverbals. Now, I mentioned earlier, okay, doesn't matter over the phone, but does it? Absolutely. When I train customer service on influence, and they need it just as much as everyone else because they're dealing with hostile people, that emotional intelligence, dealing with people, if I get someone in customer service to dress up, right, really, stand up, and smile over the phone, it makes all the difference so in the world of keeping people engaged, keeping them out of the angry emotion, and getting good evaluations. Think about it over the phone, because we imagine the face, we imagine the emotions. I do a lot of podcasts, my books are on audio, and people, when they haven't seen my face, they see me first time at a seminar, they'll say, "You look different than you sound." I'm like, okay, thanks for that, because they imagined a different face with my voice. That's just how people are, and that's true when you're talking to them over the phone. Still, if you're not feeling that connection, stand up. Stand more confident. So it's coming across through your voice. Your smile comes through your voice. So yes, it is important. So with the verbals, really, tell me more. And part of that too is asking questions with the questions and just kind of dig deeper. And the important there is, as you're learning to read people, are they stuck? Are they indifferent? Are they confused? The important piece here is to rephrase. Always rephrase it. What that does is give you time to think about a good response. It shows them that you really care to understand what they're looking for. And a lot of times, I see this quite a bit, like, well, not quite that. It's really this and this, because the way they said it, or maybe they didn't even think they got it the first time, or the way they said it, or maybe that, as they thought about it a little more, that wasn't quite it. And one of the best verbals is no verbals, which means silence. Yeah, you want them to talk? Be silent. They'll keep talking and keep talking, ask questions, keep talking, keep talking. That's a powerful tool for you. Silence is perfect. It's a great thing for you to get them to talk. Instead of throwing those persuasion darts, that's what a lot of persuaders do. You want this, and they vomit on them. And you want this, and maybe it's this, and they hope they stick. And sometimes they do. That's why they keep doing it. But I just want you to listen. Remember the secret. When you listen, they'll tell everything you need to know to persuade and influence them. It's a critical skill. In fact, think about this. Go to the doctor's office, the nurse is taking your vitals, you're not feeling very well, and the nurse leaves, you're still waiting there on the parchment paper, and the doctor comes in, just stands in the doorway, opens the door, stands in the doorway and says, yeah, I know what you have, it's going around, this is what you need to do, prescription will be at the front desk, good to see you, we'll see you next time, hopefully you get better. And shuts the door. Now hold on, time out. Let's assume the doctor was 100% correct, saved you 10 minutes of time, and solved your problem. You're still upset. You needed questions. You needed them to listen. You needed them to be concerned. You needed a little empathy. Even if the doctor knew 100% what to do and saved you 10 minutes of time, it doesn't matter. Same thing's true with the people you're trying to influence here. You need to listen. They need that time. In fact, the studies do show that even if you know it's no, if you can listen, hear their point of view, and still give them a no, that listening, hearing their point of view, even though it was a no, it's more likely to stick and be influential. So work on your emotional intelligence. Learn to read people. This does take practice. I get it. I understand. That's why I said introverts. Introverts out-persuade extroverts. That's just reality. That's how it is. Active listening. You're there. You're engaged. There's nothing more important. There's nothing that's going to distract you. So it does take effort because you're not used to it. You only taught how to learn how to hear in school. That's what they taught you. Learning how to hear. Well, write it down, put it on a test. Active. Eyes, ears, heart. You're engaged. You're there. It's a critical skill. So work on this. This is a power skill that'll make a huge difference in your ability to persuade and influence. Everything you want in life is on the other side of persuasion and influence. In fact, check out the link below at maximizeyourinfluence.com. That's also home of Influence University. That's the advanced training. Of course, take your persuasion IQ assessment. Hit like, hit subscribe. Check us out on other channels. Tell your family, friends, and enemies. Do appreciate your time. Master this skill. A little harder than you think, but man, the returns will help you persuade with power.